What up, my little chickens? You may notice a change of environment for this episode of Big Sister series. That's because I figured it'd be fun to take a little road trip together, because that's what I'm doing. I am going on a road trip and I'm doing it by myself. And I figured it might go a little faster. It might be a little bit more enjoyable if I pretend like I'm like talking to a friend. So intermittently we'll be just like having little chit chats on the road. We have lots of things to talk about today. I'm trying to revamp this series a little bit to make it something that is a little bit more enjoyable to me, because the other two episodes were fun and I enjoyed them, but I was like only doing advice giving. So it was like mostly giving advice and then like talking for a little bit. And I'm gonna be so honest with you, I've been inspired by Brittany Broski's podcast. I had never watched it. My best friend got me into watching it, and like the way that she was doing it, I was like, that's what I should be doing. I should just be chatting. I should just be like, you know, a stream of consciousness. Hello? Stream of consciousness kind of thing. But like, again, topics that you would like talk to your big sister about, or like talk about at a sleepover or whatever. So that's gonna be the vibe. We are still doing the advice question segment, but we're gonna have like other segments. We're gonna talk about lots of fun, silly things. And I'm really excited about it. Now for today, I have my 3-drink minimum as a bisexual woman. I have a strawberry Waterloo. These are so good. I love all Waterloo seltzers. Sponsor me, Waterloo. But these are really good. I have, of course, just my water. And then last but not least, we have a pumpkin spice latte. I didn't want all of this. My Dunkin', for whatever reason, like, or the Dunkin' by my parents' house, they don't ask if you want whipped cream. They just assume. Whereas like the one in the city, they ask you if you want whipped cream, or if anything, like you have to ask them for it if you want it. But here they're like, you want to have butt pee? Here you go. I'm like, I really didn't want that. Also, it's about 90 degrees here. So the pumpkin spice does feel out of context, out of place, but where I'm going, it's going to be like a high of 65 all week. And then like lower than that, like in the 50s at night. I'm so excited. This past week has been a fucking hellscape. As someone who hates the summer, it has been a goddamn hellscape of just like heat and sweat and choking humid air. I've been miserable. And now I'm about to go to my aunt and uncle's cabin on a lake, and it's one of my most favorite beautiful places on earth. It has so much nostalgia. It's tranquil. It's relaxing. It's the best kind of vacation. It's free, the best kind of vacation. And I'm going up with my best friends, my 2 girl best friends I've been best friends with like since college 12 years ago. My best friend's husband. And then Carter is coming up to meet us on Tuesday because he has to work. So I'm gonna have all of my favorite people at my favorite place while it's gonna be chilly up there. It's gonna be fall weather. So I feel like you might be able to see the happiness beaming out of me, and because that's how I feel. As for like the snack of the week, which is, I mean, road trip snacks, right? Let's see what we got here. We got Pirate's Booty, Cheddar Blast. These are my favorite because honestly, regular Pirate's Booty doesn't have enough of the fake ass cheese, but they're blasted. So those are my fave. I have some nuts for a little protein, a little pick-me-up. Blue Diamond Habanero Barbecue. Their best flavor is the wasabi flavor, but they did not have it at my Target. What else? Oh, and I think these are just snacks. These are just snacks for the cabin for everyone. Halloween Oreos. And these are a staple anytime we go to the cabin, which we haven't been in years. That's why I'm so excited. But every year that we go, we usually get like these like little Debbie seasonal cakes. Those are the snacks for the week. All right, so let's get on the road and we'll talk a little bit about some topics that I wanted to discuss for this big sister time. Let's get it. Okay, first topic that I wanted to talk about. First thing I wanted to talk about. I had an epiphany at a concert the other night, okay? I went to the Noah Khan concert with my best friend, and I was looking around at all the people around me having so much fun, dancing, letting loose, singing, screaming, and I've realized I've never allowed myself to behave like that at a concert. And then when I thought more about it, I was like, oh, I don't allow myself to act like that anywhere. Like there was this father-daughter duo that was like kind of in front of me. This father-daughter that came together, which first of all, adorable. She was like she looked like 13, maybe 14. And to every song that they could, they were dancing. I'll insert a little video here because it is just the most precious thing. I was literally the whole concert, I kept looking at them and like trying not to cry because it was just so fucking cute. That was the catalyst of me being like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be that freewheeling, that much of a free spirit. I was noticing that like, you know, other people were behaving like that. There was two girls, like 2 rows in front of us that were dancing and just like jumping around and laughing. And meanwhile, me and my best friend are just standing there quietly and just watching, just standing, you know, maybe swaying a little bit. Also, I apologize if this filming is not the best and it moves a little bit. I forgot my tripod. And I told myself to bring it 1,000,000 times, and I left it, I left it in the city, and so I'm just kind of balancing my camera on a slight ledge in my dad's car. So just forgive the filming of this episode. We're just here to have fun, okay? But anyway, so I'm watching this, and I was having an epiphany at that moment of like, I don't let myself let loose. I don't let myself have fun. And at first I started to think that like, immediately my mind, the way my mind works is to go right to astrology. And you know, there probably is some truth to that like me as a Capricorn sun, and like a Capricorn 12th house stellium, Capricorn Mercury, like I got a lot of Capricorn in my chart, and you know, I probably, you know, I'm a little more serious than maybe I would like to be, a little bit more refined, reserved. So that's where my mind went. But I also, to be fair, I have just as many air placements as I do earth placements. So like the earth should be balanced with the freewheeling, free spiritness of the air signs, but I don't know. So again, that's where my mind went first, was astrology. But then when I really started to think about it, I was like, oh wait, no, it's actually childhood trauma. So let me give you a little backstory. Let me give you a little bit of Marielle lore, okay? In my formative years, I was from when I was probably 12 to 17-ish, I had a best friend who was a terror. She was my biggest bully I've ever had. It was my best friend. Now, I was bullied by like plenty of people in my years. I was a big girl. I was an easy target because, you know, I'm not mean. I'm not aggressive. So I was bullied a lot, but my biggest and most fearsome bully was my best friend. And I feel like a lot of girls have had that experience growing up. It's like, it's either your mom or your best friend, or sometimes both. Mine was my best friend. And I don't want to use her real name. So in case I want to say a name, I'm going to make up a fake name for her. I'm going to say her name was Diane. So this best friend, she was 3 years older than me. So when I was 13, she was 16. And you can imagine what that's like as a little like chubby 16-year-old that wants to be cool so bad is, you know, friends with a 16-year-old. And also for an extra bit of context, not only was she older, she was really cool, and she was thin. She was thin. She had big old titties, and like she had that perfect body for the early to mid thousands. Like, cause nowadays she probably would like be very self-conscious of her body shape, because she was very like Paris Hilton, no curves, just like very boxy. But that was what was in back then, was like really boxy, no curves. She had a little butt, but she had big boobs, and she had like a flat stomach. She would wear her pants like just to the, very tip top of her vagina, and her hip bones would stick out. Like, she was beautiful, blonde, and skinny. So, Diane, that's what I said, right? Diane, to this day, I really don't know why she was friends with me. I mean, I'm a good friend. I'm fun. I'm funny to hang out with. But like, I was young. And, well, I mean, you know what? Let me rescind that. I know why she was friends with me. It was because I worshiped the ground she walked on. Even though I was younger than her, I, of course, was like just following her around with stars in my eyes. Her mom even said that once. She was like, she treats you like her little minion. Like, you're there to do her bidding. And I was like, no, like, I don't know, what does that mean? Everyone in my life saw how she treated me, and I feel like I did too, but it was easy to ignore, because with her, I had protection, people thought I was cool, but at what cost? This friend of mine would just make fun of me mercilessly. I was the doormat. I was the one that it's easy to pick on. And I was the one that she was always kind of like doing the like mean girl thing of like, what? Why'd you say that? Marielle, are you kidding? Like, stop. Like everything I would do was under a fucking microscope with her. And everything was made fun of, because she was so concerned with being and looking cool. So I couldn't do anything that she didn't deem cool. I don't have a lot of, I have trouble having affection with my friends because of her, because like I was only allowed to show affection on her terms, where she would like allow it. But like if I showed any sort of affection otherwise, she would like be like, ew, what are you, a lesbian? The classic. But I just wanted to show affection to her because I grew up very affectionate with a very affectionate mother. So yeah, so she just like made fun of me, made me question every decision that I made, every thing that I said. Like, I used to be, as a child, so freewheeling, such a free spirit, so silly and funny and goofy, didn't give a fuck what anyone thought about me. And then I met this friend. And your formative years are a very important part of your life, that it's very important who you're friends with and who you allow into your space, because it can affect you for the rest of your life. Case in point, me as an adult being like, I question every single thing I do, whether it's cool, whether people are going to make fun of me, whether I'm going to be laughed at. And that's because of that friend. And I always feel like a little bit like I was telling my now one of my best friends about this whole epiphany I had, where I was saying, like, I hate to like blame things on her, because I'm a fully formed adult that can like make my own decisions and own up to the things that I don't like about myself or whatever. But that is definitely where this comes from, and it just became like painfully apparent at this concert, where I was like, I've never, and like I'm like this at all concerts. I just stand there and watch, like just like stone-faced watch. And I like, maybe, like I said, maybe I sway a little bit, maybe I tap my foot a little bit, but for the most part I just stand with my, like, holding my arm and just watch. I don't really sing, and if I do sing, I like sing very soft under my breath, and I like barely move my lips. Like with the Noah Khan concert, it was like, so it's like almost like that. If someone looks at me, they'll barely notice that I'm singing and I don't know, enjoying myself. And it really hit me that I was like, I need to I need to work on some shadow work, some like inner child healing, and get back to that person that I used to be, that child that I used to be, that didn't care what people thought about me. Like, everyone at a concert is dancing and having fun. And you know, if there is someone in the crowd that's like, ew, look at all these people, like, look at that girl, she's dancing and she looks ridiculous. And like, if people were gonna sit there and judge me, who fucking cares? Who cares? I'm never gonna see that person again. And I don't care. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my life, you know? So that's where I'm at after that little epiphany. I was talking to my friend about this, and she was like, being like, whoa, you're making so much sense. Like, I am in the same boat as you. I had the same situations growing up, bullied and, you know, made fun of, and now I live my life trying not to be made fun of all the time. And so we were both going back and forth, and I was like, you know what? I should talk about this on the Big Sister series, because if it happened to me and it happened to her, it probably happened to someone else. And I think the moral of the story is just like, you're not controlled by those shitty friends that you had when you were a child. And if you are a child now, or a young person in their mid to late teens or something, if a friend makes you feel like you are an embarrassment and you are embarrassing for just living, that's not a good friend to have. And it will affect you for the rest of your life. Take me as an example, as a 30-year-old woman that goes to a concert and doesn't enjoy herself, doesn't have fun because she's scared of what other people will say. You know, that's like, you don't want to end up like that. So if you are someone that is young and has a friendship like that, like I'm describing, baby, it might be time to like pull away a little bit. And I did eventually pull away from my friend. If you're someone that is older and had those experiences like me, baby, we got to do some shadow work. we got to do some work, and it'll be worth it, because you only get one fucking life. And I don't want to be 90 years old and be like, I wish I would have danced at concerts more. You know? And this literally, like, it goes so deep. Like, and when I was talking to my friend about it, I was like, even when I go to see Broadway shows, with my family, even my mom will look over and at intermission, she'll be like, are you enjoying it? And I'll be like, yeah, what do you mean? And she's like, I can't tell by your face. You're just sitting there. And I'm like, well, I'm just concentrating. And I will say, when I watch Broadway shows, I am concentrating, because that's my craft, that's my art. So I'm really honed in and focused on watching all the facets that are going on. But there is a part of me that if I'm seeing a comedy, if I'm seeing a show that makes you want to dance in your seat, I don't do any of that. Like, I saw, if any of you know the show, The Great Comet, I have also visceral memory going with my family and my ex, and there's a part in the show where they hand out little egg maracas, and it's a big, like, they want you to dance, they want you to shake the maracas, and the characters like go in the audience and they're dancing with you, so they want the interactiveness. And like, my ex was like grooving and jamming in their seat, like having so much fun, and I was so embarrassed. I wanted to be like, stop. And like, I wasn't obviously dancing. And I think back again on times like that, and I'm like, who cares? Who cares? That's what they wanted you to do. They wanted you to have fun. And even if they didn't want to, if you're grooving in your seat to a really good song, that's not embarrassing. Like, I don't want to be someone that hasn't enjoyed life, that doesn't just like live with their whole heart, you know, just projecting out in front of them. I have so much love and joy and fun inside of me, and I keep it inside for fear of like looking like cringe or embarrassing or being made fun of. And like, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Okay, update on the road trip. I am about, let's say, 3.5 hours out. It's getting a little old. At first I was having fun. I was talking to my camera, I was voice noting back and forth with my best friend, listening to hers, responding, and now I'm just listening to podcasts, and I'm over it. I just stopped at a rest stop. Fun happenstance. My best friend and her husband also live in Long Island, or they're from Long Island. They're there right now. And so we left at similar times, I guess. And I stopped at a rest stop and to go to the bathroom and get some food and get some gas. And I was in the bathroom and she calls me and she was like, I know that was your sexy ass that just walked in the rest stop. I said, oh, are you here? And they were here. And so now we're like caravanning, which is fun because it makes me feel a little less alone. Especially towards the end of this drive, it gets very like secluded. And it's nice to just have someone that's right there. Feels like a little security blanket. You know? I also just wanted to report that I got Burger King. And of all because there was 2 fast food places in this rest stop. One was Chick-fil-A, one was Burger King. I said, oh my God, Chick-fil-A. Amazing, I'm gonna get my cool wrap. I get in there, the line at the Chick-fil-A is like 30 people deep. In my mind, I'm sitting here like, don't you people have places to be? Don't you have timetables to adhere to? You're gonna spend a half an hour in this fucking rest stop to wait to order, and then you have to wait to get the food. So I said, I look over at Burger King and I go, oh, there was like 4 people in line. So Burger King is my least favorite fast food option. I will get anything else every time. But I want to tell you something. This is the best Burger King I've had in a long time. Okay? In a long time. The burger was fantastic. And I will say that out of all the fast food burgers, they're like top tier because their burgers actually taste like burgers like that you might get at a restaurant or like someone would grill in your backyard. They taste like true burgers where like there was a right amount of onions and pickles and like mayo and ketchup on it. It was delicious. And then you know what's even crazier? These fries, this batch of fries, bro, so good. So good. Burger King's fries are like, to me, trash. Trash. These fries are so good. They are salty. They are crispy. If you're a Burger King fry stand, I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't want to hear it. They are bottom tier of everything. It goes first. Shake Shack. Shake Shack's fries, period, number 1. 2, listen, me and my friends, I told you we're doing a caravan, but they keep switching lanes like over and over again. And I'm like, guys, we're a caravan. I can't keep doing this. Anyway, Shake Shack, number 1. Those crinkle fries, they're salty, they're crunchy, fantastic. Number 2, Checkers. I love a seasoned fry. Number 3, I think number 3, then I would say McDonald's. McDonald's fries, if they're right, if they're done right, if they're freshly made and salty and just a little bit on the side of too oily, they're perfect. So those are like top 3. And then like after McDonald's is like Chick-fil-A's waffle fries. And then after that is like, I don't know, what other, oh, like maybe nacho fries from Taco Bell. And then maybe like Five Guys fries and then Burger King's fries. They are so close. I hate Five Guys fries too. I don't like a fry that's too potato-y. Do you know what I mean? I hate a steak fry. Put a plate of steak fries in front of me, I'm frisbeeing them. Frisbeeing them away from me. I hate a steak fry. Oh, that's my french fry ranking that you didn't ask for. I just wanted to update you that this Burger King is fucking slaying. It's so good. And it's nourishing my soul a little bit. Switching lanes. They switched lanes right in front of a cop. Are they out of their minds? Oh my God. The cops are bloodthirsty up here too. They're bloodthirsty up here because they ain't got nothing else to do. So they just wanna pull people over for going like, 10 miles over on the highway. So just like, that made me so nervous. I am prone to getting tickets. Like everyone else could be going the same speed as me, but I'm at the front of the pack. So the cops will be like, you. That literally made me so anxious. Okay. That's my rant for hour 3 I'll check back in again and we'll chit chat again. I'm thinking of doing the question segment with my friends as like little special guests and like having them give their 2 cents about the questions as well. Because my one friend, maybe I should just tell you their names. My one friend Asia, she's the one that's married with her husband. She's very insightful, very wise and knows what she's talking about. And my other best friend Julianne is a no-nonsense Taurus ass bitch. You know, she'll tell you what's what real quick. She's not pulling any punches, okay? So I was thinking of maybe doing it with them, but I don't know, like, if once we get up there and we're just trying to get settled in, we won't like think to do that. But we'll see, okay? But for now, I'll see you in a second. Hey, how y'all doing? That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel at this current part of my journey. We have about an hour and a half left, and we're about to be hitting the part where we lose Cervez. Whoa, stop. Oh, shit. That turn came up out of nowhere, didn't it? 45 miles. Oh my God. I've had enough. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. This is my favorite part of the journey, though, because it's like there's very little around. And when something's around, you're like, like a dilapidated barn. You're like, what's going on in there? I figured I'd do the last thing I wanted to talk about, the last segment. I have other segments that I want to do, but I can only do so many, like, of the ones that I want to do while driving, okay? So, like, I have, like, a meme roundup I want to do, and, oh, there was another one I forget now. So, we're gonna do the one that I can just go off the cuff. But also, before I do that, let me say, I know I talked before about Brittany Broski, and I don't want to sound like a fucking weirdo, but keep bringing her up, okay? I've always been a fan. I've always loved her. Who doesn't, right? We've always been fans, me and Julianne especially. But one of the things that listening to her podcast has done for me, and like listening to her talk so much and just like be herself rather than just little snippets on TikTok, has reminded me what I was talking about earlier, is that I have dimmed my light so much over the years, over my lifetime, over what I used to be, which was a silly, goofy, unhinged, doesn't give a shit type girly. And I have dimmed my light so much for so many reasons, but the main reason being that, you know, my formative years were influenced by a bully. But listening to her and experiencing her podcast has awakened in me this inspiration to want to get back to that for realsies. And like, even more than what I said earlier, where I was like, I want to do shadow work. I want to put in the effort to like get back to being someone who enjoys life and is cringe and is embarrassing and doesn't care. Even more than that, like, I used to be funny, and like, I know that I come across funny on TikTok or whatever. Like, I know that, like, if people were to add, like, if I was to say, like, do you think I'm funny, just to like a random follower, they'd be like, yeah, you're funny. But like, I used to be so fucking silly and funny, like she is. Like, again, like when I listen to her, I'm just like, that's how I used to talk. And I don't know what happened, you guys. I don't know what happened. I changed a little fundamentally over the pandemic, I think. I became more introverted. Why can't I think of the word? Like, not lethargic, but someone who's just like, ugh. The pandemic has heightened my anxiety and my depression. I do believe, since I had COVID, that I have like a mild form of long COVID that gives me a little brain fog. It makes me more tired easily. So like, I don't feel a pull to like get up and get out and do things as much anymore, because I'm just like tired a lot. Do you think living in the city has affected that a bit? It has. I'm not an NYC girly at my core. It's been fun. I have enjoyed living in the city, but I am excited to move elsewhere. I'll probably just move just outside of the city somewhere. I like more being able to go and leave the city, because I don't like walking around the city. It doesn't feel safe to me anymore. And I used to feel bad saying that, because I'm like technically a transplant, even though I grew up like right outside of the city. I used to feel bad saying that, being like, oh, it's so dangerous. But like a lot of people that have lived their whole lives in the city have noticed a change of how dangerous it feels now. And like people are so fucking unhinged. There are so many mentally ill people walking the streets that, like, I just saw a TikTok last night of a woman that was like, not a woman, she was a young girl. She was 19. She said she was walking to work at 5:30 a.m. in the like tunnels of the subway somewhere, like in between stations or whatever, and some guy just came up to her and punched her in the face and ran away. No reason. She was like, he didn't look threatening. He wasn't muttering to himself. He didn't look like he was mentally unwell. He just looked like a random guy, and he just came up to me, punched me in the face out of nowhere. She was like, I didn't, you know, she was like, he didn't seem threatening. So like, I was looking at my phone up and down, and I should have been paying attention to my surroundings, I guess. So she was like, PSA, always be on fucking alert. But I'm like, how much more alert can I be? I walk around with my pepper spray in my hand. I walk around with my shoulders up to my ears because I'm so fucking anxious that someone is just gonna jump out and attack me. That's no way to live. And I think that's partially why my anxiety, it was already peaked, and then living in the city has peaked it more. So I'm just, you know, I'm doing a lot of self-reflection today and recently. And we're on a journey back to a younger mare bear who is freewheeling and silly and fun. Anyway, I've been talking so much. Shut up, Marielle. So the last segment, we're back on track. I want to do, and don't hold me to this, but I want to do like a crushes of the week. I'll do 3. Because I am a thirsty bitch. It doesn't matter that I am dating the most handsome, most wonderful man on the face of the planet. I will never stop thirsting over people, okay? And Carter respects that. And I encourage him to thirst after people as well. We both would invite Florence Pugh into our bed together. You know, we talk about it often. And I have no problem. I'm not a very jealous person. I have trust issues, but they don't extend to like cheating. Like I don't have cheating trust issues. I have other trust issues. I don't get jealous. I'm like, who do you think is hot? Like, he has girls that hit on him sometimes at work where he works, and he'll like offhandedly mention it a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, tell me everything. What did she say? What were you wearing? What did you say back? So yeah, so I am a thirsty girl. Number 1 crush of the week, Jake Johnson. Okay, Jake Johnson is my ideal type. I don't really have a type too much, like, but if I had to narrow it down, it would be like anyone that is unconventional looking. Like, of course I'm gonna look at someone like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans or anyone that's like super conventionally attractive. Of course I'm gonna look at them and go, you know, like, of course. I'm not blind. But what I love more than anything is someone who has interesting, unique features. A lot of it is about aura. So I used to be feral for him when I went through my new girl stage. When was that? Like 2013? Probably. I was dressed in polka dots. I had my little bangs. I wore my flats. Like, I wanted to be Jess Day so much. So I was obsessed with him back then. I have been rewatching with Carter. He's never seen it. And so we're watching it, and Jake Johnson is just like, he's a perfect man, right? That kiss between the two of them, I rewound it. I watched it on a loop. I've been watching it on a loop recently, but when it first happened, forget it. And recently, I saw someone post a clip from that show he's on, Moxie, I think it's called. I have to watch that. And they posted a clip on Twitter of him kissing someone. And someone's like, who taught him that? And everyone's like, he's been that. He's been that kisser, okay? Number 2, this is a given for the time period right now. Hozier, okay? I don't really feel like I have to explain myself. It's Hozier. My feralness for him just goes dormant. It just goes dormant for a couple of years until he comes back and does something, whether he's on a track with someone, or he's putting out a new album. I have to forget about him from time to time, because if I don't, I'm doomed. He's someone that I can't really think about too much. So right now I'm back on Hozier. I'm back on my Hozier bullshit. My roommate she said once that he looks like an ent. When she said that, I lost my fucking mind. I screamed, because he does look like an ent. So he's number 2. Number 3 is similar, and I don't think this will last long. I think it will, not that it won't last long, but it will dissipate and come back and forth, sort of like Hozier, which is on brand because he is the diet Hozier. Number 3, Noah Khan. I just saw him in concert. I've really enjoyed like learning and getting to know his music. My roommate introduced me to him, I believe, because I listened to her playlist she makes on Spotify. So I went to a concert with him. I've always thought he was cute because he fits my unconventional profile of like someone that's just not everyone's type. Although I do think I get it from my mama, because I showed her a picture of him when I was showing her his music, and she immediately goes, "Oh, he's cute. Oh, he's handsome." She loves a strong nose. And I do think I've gotten it from her. Like, I love a strong nose. I love an Adrian Brody. To me, gorgeous. The pinnacle of male beauty. Honestly. That's why, like, Carter's always like, my nose is so big. I said, it's the best part of your face. Right after your smile, okay? I love his long, wavy hair that always just looks a little bit dirty. It always looks a little bit frizzy. I love his strong nose. I love his sad eyes. I love that he looks a little weathered. He made a joke at the concert where he was like, I know I look like I've been divorced 3 times, but I'm only 26. And I'm like, that tracks. And I love it. And also what really cemented it for me, and I can't really explain it, but when he sings, the mic is like right up against his mouth, and you can't see his mouth, but you can see his eyes. And when they did close-ups of his face, he would like do all these like crazy eye expressions when he's singing. Like he would be like, I can't really look at the camera, but he would be like he would like be rolling his eyes around and like widening his eyes, and he like had crazy eyes, and it did something to me. So he's number 3. Okay, so those are the 3 crushes of the week. We'll see if they change next week. They might not, or they might shuffle. We might introduce a new one and lose another one. So we'll see. Okay, so that's that for that segment. We'll see if we're gonna do the advice segment this week. We might push it off to next week, just because I really haven't gotten that many submissions to my email, because I'm taking them by email now. I'm gonna keep posting about it on my Instagram to be like, email me your questions. I only got like 3, I think. So we might hold off till next week, but we might not. So I'll check in later. This has been the hour-and-a-half benchmark report. Okay, so we didn't do the question and answer segment this week. We'll do it next week. I was just having too much fun hanging with my gals, as you can tell from my makeup. Can you tell? Like, I was cry laughing. That's why I look like that. But yes, we didn't do the segment, but we had this idea that I was like, I want to kind of like read my cringy fan fiction book that I wrote in college back in 2012. It's a product of its time, and they're like, yeah, you should totally do that. And then I started reading some of it aloud to each other, and it is so cringy and awful that I forget who it was that said, like, you should just read this. Like, we should, like, record us reacting to you reading it live, because it's about all of us. We're all in the book, and each chapter is a different part of each of our story. So it hits close to home. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that, because that would be really fun and silly. But for this week's Big Sister series, I'm signing off because it's 2 a.m. and I'm very EB. Okay, so I love you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.